Hey, what's up guys? Mr. Ipock here, again for another follow-up video. This is the follow-up video for lesson 3.3, which is exponents and multiplication. Okay, so we're going to start out. We've kind of went over three different parts in section 3.3. We went over exponents with the same base. We've talked about a power of a power and power of a product. So I just want to give some examples, and the examples I'm giving, they are actually from tonight's homework, the 1 through 26. So let's start with exponents with the same base. And we'll start with number 1 from tonight's homework. It is 4 squared times 4 squared. Well, what we're trying to do here is simplify. We're not solving. If we solved, we would get 16 squared is, or excuse me, 4 squared is 16 and 4 squared, so 16 times 16, which then is 256. But we're not trying to solve it. We're trying to simplify. Okay? So when we simplify and we are multiplying numbers with exponents, if the base is the same, what we can do is we can just simply add the exponents. So we're going to keep the base the same. The base is 4, the exponent is 2. So we're going to say 4, and then we're going to add the exponents. 2 plus 2. And 2 plus 2 is 4 to the 4th power. So the answer to number 1 is 4 to the 4th power. Let's look at another example of exponents with the same base. We have 4 times 4 squared. This is number 2. So we have 4 times 4 squared, but the problem is this 4 doesn't have an exponent, or it doesn't appear to have an exponent, but it really does. That exponent is 1. Anytime you have a number, it is to the 1 power. So really there is actually a 1 right here. So I'm going to mark it in red. So there's a 1 here. So bases are the same. We're going to keep the base and we're going to add the exponents. The exponent is 2 and 1, so we're going to say 2 plus 1. So that would be 4 to the 3rd power. Now let's go on to a power of a power. Let's look at a power of a power. So we have p to the 4th power and all that, which is to the 4th power. So when we have a problem like this exponent tells me how many times to multiply this base by itself. We do the shortcut method instead of showing out P4 times P4 times P4 times P4. We're going to do a little shortcut, and the shortcut is this. When we have a power of power, we can just simply multiply the exponents. So we keep the base, which is P, and we say 4 times 4 is 16. So this would be P to the 16th power. This is a power of a power. This is number 22 on tonight's homework. Okay? So then we look at number 23. We have another power of a power. We have k cubed to the power of 4. So what can we do with this right here? We could all list it all out, but we're just going to simply multiply the exponents. So we're going to multiply the exponents. And I'm going to end up with k, and 3 times 4 is to the 12th power. So we have k to the 12th power. We go to the last part of section 3, of lesson 3.3. And we have power of a product, where we have a multiplication between a coefficient and a base and an exponent, and then all that is to a power. So this is how we're going to work this. This is what this is saying is this exponent tells me how many times to multiply this base times itself. So basically, I need to square everything inside here. I need to square this coefficient as well as the base in this exponent. So this is what it would look like. It would look like this. 2 squared times x squared squared. So everything inside the parentheses, the coefficient, and then the base and exponent was squared. That's what this is telling us to do. So then we're going to actually solve 2 squared, which is 4. And then we have x squared, and all that is squared. Which brings us back to a power of a power. When we have a power to a power like that, we're just going to simply multiply. And we got x to the 4th power. So the answer to 21 is 4x to the 4th power. And that's me showing the work of what I've done. Bring you to this last one right here. So we have 2b squared all to the 4th power. So what do we need to do? We need to put the coefficient, which is 2, to the 4th power, as well as the base and the exponent. And that'll be b squared to the 4th power. Okay? So we're going to solve this 2 to the 4th power. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. And then we come back to a power of a power. We have this squared and this b squared all to the 4th power. So when we have a power to a power, we can just simply multiply those. And we're going to say this is 16b to the 8th power. And then this will be our final answer. So these are the 3 sections. Exponent with the same base, power of a power, and power of a product. Now each one of these can go a little bit farther. So I'm going to just take a second just to erase this, and I'm going to go over 2 other lengthy problems from the homework. I'm going to go over number 13 exactly from the homework, and I'm going to go over number 13, and I'm going to go over number 19. So, looking at 13. 13 is 7v cubed times 10u cubed v to the 5th times 8u v to the 3rd. Okay, when we have a problem like this, the first thing we need to do is to multiply the coefficients. Identify them first. So we have 7, 10, and 8. We need to multiply the coefficient first. So 7 times 10 is 70 times 8. 70 times 8, well 8 times 7 is 56, and then I can add on the 0. So this will be 560. Now I'm going to look at my bases. I have these bases. And remember, the only time I can add exponents is when the base is the same. So I want to multiply the v's all together. I want to multiply them times themselves. And then sometimes I tell students to do this. You may need to divide this out in order for you to see what's going on with the bases and the exponents. So in this first one we have v. So that's what we'll start with. We'll start with v. So we have v to the 3rd here. I have v to the 5th here and v to the 3rd here. So the bases are all the same. They're being multiplied, so I can add the exponents. 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So I have v to the 11th. That takes care of those. And then I have u. There's no u's here, so I'm done here. There's a u here, and it's u to the 3rd power. And I also have a u here. It's just simply u. And when we have just a variable, it's u to the 1st. So it's going to be 3 plus 1 is u to the 4th. And this would be my final answer. 560 v to the 11th and u to the 4th. So that is number 13. And I'd also like to work number 19 from the homework. Number 19 is 10xy cubed times 8x5y cubed. Now, remember the first step, always identify those coefficients. The coefficients is 10 and 8. So that's our coefficients. So we need to multiply those. 10 times 8 is 80. So I've taken care of the coefficients. Now I'm going to divide this out so I can see what my variables are doing. I want to multiply x times x and y times y. Because when I multiply numbers that have exponents or variables with exponents that have the same base, I can just add the exponents. So let's look at x. X is to the 1st power times x to the 5th power. Well, same bases and I'm multiplying, so I can simply just add those exponents and add x to the 6th power. Then I've taken care of the x's. Now I'm to the y's. I have y cubed times y cubed. Same basis, I can add the exponent. So this would be y to the 6th power. This concludes this lesson, the follow-up video of lesson 3.3, exponents and multiplication. Thank you so much for watching. We're right before fall break, so students, I hope you have a wonderful fall break and be safe. Thanks.